and off we go. Okay. Well, good evening. It's lovely to meet you. Could you just start off by saying, please, your name and where you are?
Thanks, Heather. My name is Thato Matshitsa. I'm based in South Africa, Johannesburg. So that's where I'm connecting with you from.
Okay. So the first big question is, who are you? Who are you as a human being right now? And that can be anything that you want to share, your passions, qualities about yourself, your values, whatever you'd like.
Hmm. I think everything finds its meaning in my name. Who I am, it's rooted in my name. So my name Thato means will, which is the will of God. So my mom, when she gave birth to me, she was still young, I think 18, about to turn 19. And she gave birth to me out of wedlock. And, sometimes that is quite taboo, teenage pregnancy and everything. And then when I got born, she gave me the name Thato, saying it is the will of God that I had this baby. After all, every we believe that every child or baby is a gift from God. So that's what she said. She said he will be known as Thato, and God's will be fulfilled in his life. And I think ever since, and to the point that leads to where we are now, my name has just followed me. In African culture, that's what we believe. And also being Christian, because that's where I'm rooted. That's where all of my purpose is rooted. I really believe that I'm a person of purpose, considering the name itself, will, God's purpose. I'm a person of purpose. I'm grounded in purpose, and everything that I do it with intent. The question of why is always at the back of my mind when I engage in any form of work or any form of relationship. So that has always been my driving force, and what gives me a sense of direction. And it is more like my campus as to, okay, this is the direction that I should go. In making decisions, I always consider, is this in line with I believe to be my purpose in this life. So I am firmly rooted in the Christian faith, as you can hear, and I'm just believing that I am God's will, and the reason I'm here on earth is God's will, and I intend to fulfill God's will here on earth. So that's who I am. Someone who's just looking to fulfill God's purpose here on earth, and that is to serve His generation, my generation.
That's a pretty powerful purpose.
I
So
I
what,
yes.
go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say I sincerely believe that our biggest call in life is to serve one another, and not to lord it over each other, but to rather serve one another. And it is out of that service that we can get, in serving one another, that we can get things done. So if each of us could just serve one another, so that's why I firmly believe in my call. That's just to serve people, professionally, um, as a planner, or even professionally doing facilitation using Gestalt. It's just to serve people.
Hmm. Would you say that there are certain values that you orient around in your way of being in the world?
Hmm. I think respect for the next person is a big one. Um, and learning to embrace people for who they are. Because we can be so fixated in our own beliefs and our own ways. The past year doing Gestalt has just enabled me to say, embrace everyone in the wholeness. After all, we are all human race, and we should just embrace one another. So respect for people and embracing them for who they are. It's something that has become a value that is quite strong for me. And giving your best in everything that you do. I sincerely believe that excellence is something that we should all thrive for. Not necessarily perfection, but giving our best and showing up the best way that we can. I think that is something that I uphold so much. It's a key principle that I live by, with value that I uphold, to say, let there be excellence in everything that I do and how I show up. I just want to give my best.
So I am hearing a lot of your identity in your origin, but I'm wondering what comes to mind as an event or a set of circumstances in your life that you would say has really defined who you are or how you are.
I think being raised by women, my mom, she was young, as I've said, and my grandma, my aunt, those were the closest people around. My uncle, one was in Botswana. He had left during the apartheid time, went to exile, and then my other uncle was in the northwest, the province, another province in South Africa. And so it was being raised by them, seeing these women who were selfless, um, giving the all for me, making sure that I had what I needed, even though we had limited resources. But I never felt at one point that I didn't have what I needed. And the fact that they gave me so much freedom as a young person to become who I want to be, that really defined everything for me, in the sense that in everything that I did, it was to make them proud. I never wanted to disappoint them. Growing up, going through school, um, I was doing things just to make them proud, because I understood that no matter how much money I can amass or wealth in this world, it would not come close to the sacrifices that they made for me, to raise me up to become um, the young man that I grew up to be and the man that I am today. So they really put everything on the line for me, and as such, I just wanted to live to make them proud. And another defining moment for me was when I intentionally gave my life to the Lord and realized that, look, this life is not my own. He brought me here on earth. He's the creator and the owner of life. So at the age of 17, when I said, Lord, I'm letting go, I'm trusting you with my life, I think that's when purpose, my sense of being, began. And that was a defining moment for me. And that's how everything has fallen into place up to this far. The people that I've met, my destiny helpers along the way, the Gestalt Africa faculty. I honestly believe those were divine moments in time that are shaping me for who I am to be, even in the future, considering that I'm still young. So looking forward to more years. So yeah, those are the three defining moments: being raised by my mom, grandma, and aunt, giving my life to the Lord, and meeting the Gestalt Africa faculty. Those are three key moments. And with Gestalt, it's only been what, 8 to 9 months, and already I believe that it's quite a defining moment in my life,
Wow.
leading me to the way that I believe I should go and serve, as I said, this generation the best way that I could.
Hmm. Okay. Well, you mentioned, yourself as the man that you are now. So
Mhm.
can you tell me more about what you mean by that? I mean, how do you understand and experience yourself as a man or within your gender or your roles?
Being raised by these three powerful women in my life has made me to respect women, to embrace women. That my masculinity is not in oppressing a woman. My wife, we've been married for 5 years now, and much as there are certain things that she probably does better than I do, but I allow myself to do certain things. I allow myself to serve her, even doing those roles that are thought to be more feminine. I thrive in doing that. I serve her in that way. I said to her, I'm going to outserve you because typically patriarchy says that a woman should serve a man. That's what patriarchy says. But I made a commitment to her that, look, I will outserve you because I was raised by three strong women who put everything on the line for me. And as a man, I just respect the women around me and just embrace who they are. And so that makes me a person who wants to be aware of the women around me, a man who's aware of women, and yeah, and I believe that man was created to work. That's another thing about me, that the man that I am is a man who works. Um, I I work hard. I do my best to apply myself in everything that I do, whether it's in the house, within the family setup, or at work in general. So I'm a man who works. I give and I apply myself in everything that I do. So that's how I would define myself as a man who respects women and who works and just applies himself.
Okay.
I I hope I answered your question.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I have no idea how people understand themselves. That's why I asked the question.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. So another question, when you say married for 5 years, the math doesn't track with me looking at you. So can you tell me a little bit about your age and how you're experiencing this phase of your life? Sort of like what your
Uh,
view is on this whole aging process?
I'm curious about what you're saying. Looking at me, I'm curious what is evoked in you, Heather. Do you think I'm how old do you think
I wasn't sure if we were in the 30s. I was like, you seem very youthful.
Mm-hmm. I'm 33.
Okay.
Been married for 5 years. Got married when I was 28. And yeah, I'm youthful. I'm so used to being the youngest in the room.
Mhm.
In many instances, and thank you for the compliment, the youthfulness. Because I think it is life itself, how we apply ourselves, that keeps us young. A number of people, when they see me with my wife, and they get shocked that we've been married for 5 years. It's not a long time, but considering how things are now with marriage and everything, people get shocked. Other young people, are you guys 5 years? And then they ask the question, how old are you? If you say you've been married for 5 years, and you just say, no, it's been 5 years, and it's just a matter of how we embrace each day.
Mhm.
Learning, because I'm one person who I think a lot, Heather. I want to understand things. I want to know why, like I said when we started. So I can easily get into either a depressed type of state or a worry type of state. But what I've been learning for the past year is that I'm not God. I can't figure everything out.
It's only been
So
the past year.
yeah,
Okay.
through
New,
Gestalt
new
as well.
learning.
Because Gestalt has just ignited my Christian walk. It has just brought a new spark to it. It has refreshed it and so forth. So I have literally just learning now to let go of things and not try to be in control of everything. Um, as I said, I work hard, so I would want to do things and figure things out. If someone does not do it, I don't want to do it. So what I'm learning now is it's okay sometimes to let things go because I can't control everything. And with this phase of life, what it's doing now is that I'm learning to embrace the journey itself, of marriage, of life, that every decision that I take also has an impact on my wife, on another person, because we're doing the journey together now. So I have to constantly be considerate of that as well and consult and be more consultative.
Mhm. Okay. And oh, I had a question in my head that just left. The youngest person in the room. I am not that anymore, but I was that for a very long time. How has that been for you, framing yourself and coming in, with the energy and the commitment and the age? How have you been perceived? How have you been challenged? How have you been supported?
I think that evokes different things in different people. In certain setups, because of my youthfulness, the energy, um, an overactive mind that constantly wants to figure things out, being a problem solver by nature, looking to solutions, the learning styles. Um, it's in other people, it evokes, especially who are much older, that this young person thinks he knows everything. And that can be a bit of a challenge for other people to receive me for who I am. And for others, they embrace it, get feedback, or not even feedback, what people say with the experience, what gets evoked in them when they encounter me. It excites me. It it brings a sense of I matter. I am seen even as a young person. I am heard, because they give me room to be. Um, and in those spaces, I thrive because I'm given room to be. Um, I'm allowed to be myself, to bring my energy. And one thing about me is that I would like to believe I have a teachable spirit. So when I do something wrong, or I make a mistake rather, and I receive feedback, I've learned now to receive feedback with grace and not necessarily think that someone has an issue with me. Even those who might feel like I'm rubbing them the wrong way because of my youthfulness and all this energy, I have learned that it's it's what I evoke in them. It's not necessarily who I am, it's how they experience me. So how I work around that is that I allow them to be. And in certain instances, if I have room and I feel like I have a strong relationship with that person, I would ask them, how do we work together? How do we deal with this? If there's that level of relationship, if there's none, I just keep to myself, learn to contain my energy around them, and try to be tactful in how I approach them, because they are in my space, they are around me. It's something that I cannot run away from, particularly in the work environment. So I try to learn to work with them and find ways to present myself to them, without necessarily threatening the status, without necessarily causing them to feel like I'm just invading their space. So I appeal more to their status, acknowledge that they are much older than I am, acknowledge that they might have been in the organization longer than I am, and then try find a way to settle them, give them some level of certainty, because as a young person, you can be perceived to have too many ideas, and everyone is just waiting for you to fail, especially if they can't understand you and guide you. So try to create some level of certainty and engage with them and try to sell the idea to them. And that's how I've learned to deal with those who have some level of resistance towards me. But those who embrace me, they just warm my heart. And I just thrive in those spaces.
The word resisting you, that's rough. I mean, resisting somebody else existing, that's yeah. I do ask a question, which is, how do you experience and how do you understand and how do you deal with dynamics around power and privilege in your life? And I think some of what you've just said definitely speaks to that. I mean, people having some resistance to your existing is a very strong statement.
Thanks for bringing that up, Heather. Probably resistance might be quite a bit of a strong word,
No, but
but
I imagine it as like a pushback.
yeah. But it's also because probably of how they experience me or what I evoke in them, that threat to the status, the power, the rank, that they want me to know that they are. So, like I said, I just allow them to be, because I understand that unfortunately, if they sense of being is around the power, around the rank, it's just a seat that they're sitting on. What happens when they're not sitting on that seat? So I just allow them to be, and because the only thing that I have control over is how I deal with that. So as I said, I try my level best to appeal to the sense of power, the status, and allow them to be and acknowledge that status. That look, as I said, especially in African culture, you are older, you are sitting in that position, you have that rank, so I'll give you the respect that is due to you. And just remember that when we have to deal with work or certain things, let's see how we meet each other halfway. And I think that's by just acknowledging the status and rank. That's how I deal with power. People are in powerful positions. But as a young person, it can easily lead to rebellion. And I'm grateful for my teachers or in my mentors when I speak to them about this, how they are able to bring me to an awareness that I just have to learn to play with that, play with it. So I think I'm in a position where I'm enjoying it. It doesn't frustrate me as it used to be. It's still a journey, but the fact that now I'm in awareness that it could be something that they are dealing with, it has nothing to do with me. So I try play with it, find ways to deal with it. I think David Rock's scarf model, I love that model. I use it. I just play with it. As I said, appeal to the status. People who are in powerful positions want certainty. Give them some bit of certainty when I'm presenting something to them, as I've said. So that's how I just play with it. So I'm at a point where Gestalt has offered me that room to play around, to experiment, to see what I can do with some of the tools that you are being equipped with. and understand and be aware of where someone is and then where I'm at, and how then do I play with some of these tools to see how they lead us to relate better, even if it's just for work purposes. So I find ways to play with it, thanks to Gestalt for all the tools
Yeah.
that they present as well.
Yeah, and that's beautiful because it's just an experiment. It's just a game. We can play what if something were to change a little tiny bit. And it sounds like you can make some of those challenges tolerable in a playful way.
Yes, yes, because no 2 days are the same.
Mhm.
One day you walk into the office and you say something, then someone responds in a particular way. The other day you say something, they just go with the flow. So it's just learning to play with what comes, what each experience brings on a particular day, and see how to play around it and deal with it for to try get a better outcome from that, or creating a totally new experience, either for myself, so that I do not harbor anything within me to feel like I'm less of. Because for the longest of time, I used to ask myself a lot of questions until I became aware of what lies within, and what people, like I say, the Gestalt faculty, Gestalt Africa faculty, what they see in me that has really brought some level of confidence to step more into myself and allow myself to be, and don't just see myself as a young person who is not heard. Like I said, now I feel like I'm heard. Now it causes me to thrive more into try out new things and be more braver. So yeah, I just play around with what comes with each day and with each experience.
Just playing around. So
After
can you
all,
tell
I'm
me,
young.
yeah, can you tell me more about how you met Gestalt? Like, where did your paths cross?
Hmm. I'm gonna say something that you've heard so often. Gestalt found me.
Okay.
Um, as I say, I sincerely believe that everything that's happening is God's will, like my name, Thato. The will of God. I think it's divine. It's meant to be. When I 2 years ago, almost three now, a particular director in another unit within our division, in our organization, says, you know what, I want you to come to work with us and to act on a higher position than the one that I'm in. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to learn. If there's something that I'm always keen on is learning. And I said, okay, look, if you want me to come join you, talk to all the powers that be, um, and if I'm given the green light, I'll gladly come join your team and work with your team. And I joined the team. As I said, obviously, when you get into a new environment, there's a level of resistance. You are new, and now here you are on a higher position than people who've been there, who are slightly older than you, and you have to find your way. And as a typical hard worker, like I've mentioned, task orientated, I just hit the ground running, focused on task, focused on work, and just giving myself to say, I'm called here to work. So I'm just gonna work. I'm just gonna work. And I was being frustrated with the fact that I can't really relate to these people. And someone referred me to Leading Self, that is run by the Tshwane Leadership Management Academy, because I work for the city of Tshwane. Someone referred me to this Leading Self program offered by the Leadership Management Academy, and I signed up for it. It's all about leaders, and I thought that even though the name says Leading Self, I thought it would enable me to know how to lead others. because it was about being a leader in the organization and how you show up. So I signed up and stepped into that room and saw this amazing human being, Shanaz Majid. And we went through the program and we just fell in love with each other. She has a golden
That's
heart.
very easy. That's very easy.
So easy. And just fell in love with her. This woman who sees you, who acknowledges you, who just embraces you for who you are. And that just, I couldn't resist. And I just gave in. And one day she says, that's why I'm saying everything is divine. She says, we need men in the faculty who can work with us because the faculty was made up mostly of ladies. And we need male facilitators and coaches. Are you keen? And for the longest of time, as I've said, I believe that my purpose is to serve people. So I'm a development planner by profession. So I believe that I have to serve people by creating spaces that are conducive for them, that enables them, and that would serve them and enable them to thrive. So that was one part of my purpose. And the other one has always been that I believed that I have to work with people and learn and be a part of making them become better versions of themselves. So when Shanaz said that, I was like, oh boy, why would I say no to this opportunity to work with people in the organization and be part of this amazing faculty because I saw the work that they did. So I said, look, I'm here, I'm willing. This was last year now in 2022, and did my personal development plan because that's one of the things that we have to do as part of the program, presented it. And a couple of months later, she says it in front of the entire division when we had a session with her and her faculty as a division to try and motivate the division and engage the division. And she said the same thing to everyone to say, this young man, we're going to work with him and he has great potential. And beginning of this year, the opportunity came where National Treasury, the City Support Program, were offering an opportunity to facilitate us to run the Leading Change program. And the faculty or the mentors for that were the Gestalt Africa faculty, John Ngum, Chantel Wiley, and Jeremy Henderson. And Shanaz being from TLMA, she presented the opportunity to me and those who were part of her faculty and other colleagues in the organization, 10 of us. And I gladly signed up, not knowing what's going to come, but because of that open heart and willingness to learn, and how I just fell in love with Shanaz and trusted her. And I said, you know what, I'm willing to be part of this process. Let's see where it leads. And that's how Gestalt found me. And the journey has been amazing up to this far. I'm looking forward to decades of being Gestalt because it just fits right into who I am as a Christian. It just fits in loving people, embracing them, serving, and it just fits. It's a right fit. It's just like a glove. So that's how I Gestalt found me because the link was Shanaz, and now I've met these amazing people, and you today.
Well, and thank you. And what do you do? I mean, you have these massive senses of purpose and work ethic and drive and all of these things. What do you do? Like, are you in a room talking to a group of people? I mean, how does your being like play out in the world around you? I mean, you go into a room with the treasury officers of South Africa, and then what happens? Like you're throwing a stone in the water. How? Like, tell me more.
Hmm. The question excites me, Heather. Who I am in a room is I'm a servant. Whatever hat I'm wearing at a particular moment, either as a development planner, I wear that hat, and the purpose or the intent is to serve, to make sure that whatever outcome that we get to will be for the benefit of the citizens. As a development planner, as a facilitator, when I step into that room, I'm there to serve the people. As Gestalt has offered me the opportunity to become more aware of myself and what is around me, I try bring that awareness to them. And as a Christian in my local church, I serve in whatever department I'm put into. This year, I was project coordinator for our Bible class. It's a program that we put together for new converts that just teaches them the principles and the basics, the doctrine of Christianity. I was the coordinator to put together the manuals and put together the faculty and make sure that we had a program running for the year. So where you put me, Heather, I become a servant. I just want to serve. That's
A servant
I
with very
think.
high level organization skills.
So that's me. So going back to the development planner, what I'm hired for, what the city pays me for. Um, the role that I'm in now, that I've been acting in for the past just 2.5 years, almost 3 now, is that of a development facilitator. So we facilitate strategic developments within the city. And these are mega projects in the city that are brought and are usually led rather by the private sector. So I get to engage with everyone in the system because we facilitate these developments through the land development process. But I get to traverse the system and get to meet everyone in the system from different departments, the water and sanitation engineers, the road engineers, the electricity engineers, to try get to a point where these developments that have economic potential to generate revenue for the city and create economic opportunities for the communities around where this development will happen, for them to be realized, it depends so highly on our internal departments and them providing the infrastructure to support these developments, or at least providing direction as to how this developer can get the project on the ground and running, so that the city can generate revenue, as I said, so that people in those communities can find employment. Because probably you know that the unemployment rate in South Africa is so high. So it's one of the things that drives me to wake up every day and want to be a bridge between the city colleagues who are my colleagues, understanding where they are, being aware of the challenges that they have, and understanding what the developer wants to do, and the agency of how they want to get the project on the ground. So what that allows me to do is to understand both worlds, the private sector and the public sector, and just become a mediator or that bridge that connects the two. So that we move towards a shared vision, because everyone wants to improve the city. Everyone, whether it's private sector or the city officials, our goal is the same: to improve the city, to bring economic development, to bring infrastructure development. That is our shared vision. But now we have to get to a point where we have a shared commitment towards the shared vision. So the role that I play is to bring both parties together so that we move in the same direction. That's how I see my role as a development planner or development facilitator in the city. That's the role that I play. And then when I get the call from Shanaz and team at the Tshwane Leadership Management Academy, we're the head of the facilitator or an intervener in the system, where if we have to run a particular engagement, I am there. We do the facilitation work. We work with these other teams from different departments. And then what that does for me amazingly is that it puts me in the room with the same colleagues that I have to go knock on doors to get things done. So what that constantly creates is this level of we see each other as often as possible or in these meetings, and then that creates an opportunity for some level of relatedness because, oh, I see you again. Oh, I see you again. You're popping up here. Just recently, now in September, we ran the first pilot for the Leading Change program that the Gestalt Africa faculty was preparing us to do to facilitate that is from the National Treasury. And one of my colleagues says, "You are here again? You keep popping up everywhere in the system." I felt like that was the best compliment I could get. Because as I said, I always look for opportunities to serve and to apply myself. And where the door is open, I give it my all. So that's who I am. That's how I show up here with the different hats that I wear. And I mentioned earlier on how I show up as a husband. So I just try to show up as best as I can in with whatever hat that I'm wearing or whatever seat I'm sitting in. And I'm just the same person who's just here to serve. So I don't hold on to the seat. I don't hold on to the role. I'm just here to serve. I'm just here to give my all. So wherever you call me, be sure that I will try apply myself as best as I can.
It sounds like you are in many remarkable positions to be able to facilitate, to be able to offer support and scaffolding and connection. It's really interesting. I hear so many people who look at individuals, and it sounds like from here your perspective is completely inverted, and you're seeing the whole system in a very extraordinary way and going up and down all of those levels, like you said. It's really fascinating.
It's a privilege. It's I see it as a privilege, and yes, fascinating too, because I get to play in different spaces.
I was going to say, what I hear more than anything else is your enjoyment, like just the way that you
Oh,
like.
Heather,
Oh,
I certainly enjoy it, and you know when you start the journey, it usually feels burdensome. To be honest, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work having to do your because the work starts at 7:30 to 4 p.m. having to play that role that you've been appointed for in the city, and then still have to find time to do all of these other things. It can easily get overwhelming. But as I said, the drive, the enjoyment comes from understanding that I'm just serving. So let me give it my best. Let me just leave it on the floor, leave it all there. And when I leave, I'll get refreshed. We wake up tomorrow. It's another day. Which hat are we wearing? Sometimes I wear 3 hats in one day.
Sometimes at
And
the same time, I'm sure.
because sometimes when I'm on the platform facilitating, I have to wear the planner head and throw in something as an opportunity to bring awareness to one of the delegates who's probably someone within the city who I need something from. And I just bring them to an awareness and say, remember this and this and this. I leave it at that. Later on, I say, hey man, I need this and this. So I find opportunities just to use whatever I can at any given point, just so that we get to the point where we serve. I serve, and others get to do what they need to do, and then and get into their roles as well, and as leaders, and do what they have to do. So I just playing. I just love rather playing throughout the system, and in whatever room that you put me in, I'll find something to do.
Playing with extraordinary. I mean, it's like I'm hearing like a racehorse talking about just going out for a jog. Like your level of play sounds extraordinarily complex and intense and exciting.
It gets intense. It gets intense. At the end of the day, I am empty.
Mm.
I need to refresh. I need to refresh, and I do something that also just adds some level of that's also quite intense. Just hit the gym, come back,
I'm gonna say you're
be with
probably
my.
also some semi-professional athlete or something. I'm just gonna go run a marathon in my spare time.
I just hit the gym, hit the weights, do some functional training, come back, be with my wife, enjoy each other's company. The day is over. We've maximized and made the most of the day that was.
Mhm.
If we get the opportunity to wake up the following day, go again.
Now I'm very curious to meet your wife, but also, um, so you say at the end of the day you're empty, and you talk a lot about giving and serving and that generosity of spirit. So what have you received, and what has Gestalt in particular given you?
Thinking about what Gestalt has given me, it's amazing. All of these tools that it has presented me with, the personal sustainability index, trying to apply some of those things that decrease your stress levels, the exercise, the playfulness. I think that's where now I'm learning to be more playful. That no matter how intense the situation is, because I can be quite intense, or I'm very intense. I'm very, very intense in what I do. That's why I I'm empty at the end of the day. But trying to find things that refresh me. The morning devotions. That's why I'm saying my Christianity is a very, excuse me, it's my base, it's my foundation. Um, when I wake up in the morning and I realize I'm here today, that means I have another opportunity. There's still purpose for me to be around that rejuvenates me. And then the tools that Gestalt is given and offered me, that community. I think the community is a place where I get to be refreshed. I know that I can call one of my colleagues whom we went through this process with, the Gestalt facilitation process with. I know I can call them and they would know. We speak the same language. We're learning the dialect. We play around with it, and you just get refilled. So the community, the people, is what Gestalt has offered me. Apart from the tools that we learn to apply and so forth, I think the biggest gift that it has given me, it's the people, the community, knowing that I know that I can reach out to someone. Just earlier on today, I had coffee with one of the colleagues when I was doing leading self with when I was still what's this one of the participants in leading self and was going through the program myself. She was one of the coaches, one of the facilitators, and today I get an opportunity to sit with her and we just speak. We just talk about everything from life to what lies ahead, the things that we look forward to on this journey together. So above everything that Gestalt has offered me is the amazing human beings. And I'm so grateful for that. I just love the people. I just
That's
love
my
the
favorite part of
spirits.
Gestalt too. It's the humans.
Exactly. The
It's the
humans,
human being.
the human beings. They are so wow. Like you just wanna keep hugging them. Even if you are not a hugger, when you just see them, you just wanna open your arms, embrace them. We went through the program in disembodied form through Zoom and so forth. We spent months on the screen. The day we met each other, oof, the day we met John Nkum, it just felt like I've known this man for so long. Feels like he's a father. Looking forward to meeting Chantel because she was in Germany for majority of this process. Just feels like these human beings, they are just amazing. We have a saying in in Setswana, in my culture, that says "Okaja pelo ya motho." That means you can literally, if the heart was edible, you would enjoy it because it is just in such good condition,
Well,
so
and
so
that's a
nourishing.
very Gestalt thing. When you were saying you want to hug them, I was going to say you kind of want to take like a little bite out of them too. Just a little bit,
Exactly.
like in a nice way. But
Yeah, you feel like they're just a part of you.
mhm,
We are a whole. You feel like without them, yes, you go, you do everything, but the moment you connect with them,
mhm.
I
Yeah,
just get
it's a way
re-energized.
of doing something just beyond yourself as well.
Mhm.
Mhm. Hmm. So you're very good at leading into things. So my next question is about what you were saying, those next steps. You know, where are you going? Like this is what you're doing now, and now what's next?
It's difficult to say, Heather. I have an idea,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds cliche. I know I've said it so many times. I am going to serve. So where Gestalt takes me, um, that's where I'm going. And none of what's happening to me so far I planned, particularly for this year. This year I've been offered so many gifts um, in every area of my life. In in church, like I said, in my local church, the opportunity to coordinate the program in at work where this gift of Gestalt was given to me by Shanas to become a part of this, the opportunity to actually facilitate a program using Gestalt. These have just been things that are just blowing my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't claim to have planned it, but what I know is that I showed up. the opportunities presented themselves, I showed up. So where my next is where Gestalt Africa is taking me, where an opportunity opens, and which in the Gestalt way is to serve, is to be beyond myself, like you said earlier, and be a part of something greater. I'm there. Professionally, I know where I want to go, the things that I want to do, and I know that it is always where opportunity meets me, I show up. So when the time is right, I will do all of those things. But in a nutshell, I'll continue serving, I'll continue giving the best of myself where an opportunity arises. I want to study further and do a program called development finance, so that I understand that some of the projects that we run, the financial element is quite important. How to source funding in order to enable them or have models, funding models, to fund these projects. That's another element. So Gestalt has offered me the people component of it, that I can work with people and find ways to relate to them so that we move towards that shared vision with a shared commitment. I'm not oblivious to the fact that there's resources required. So that's why I would like to do that program and then just invest in myself in that. And an opportunity will come where I get to do it. And once I'm equipped, I'm gonna apply it. Same way,
And that, I mean,
Gestalt
that
is.
that sounds like the right order to me, is the preparation, the willingness, the curiosity, availability, the skills, the community, and then the money. Because otherwise it's like,
Yeah,
sending the kid to the store with a credit card and no criteria, which does not sound like a good idea.
exactly. So hence I said it's a bit difficult to answer your question and be specific. I just know that where opportunity presents itself, as it has done this year with all of these amazing gifts, I think my heart is at a point where it's just open. My hands are just open, ready to receive, ready to give freely. So where I'm called to serve, I'm there. I'm there. Yeah.
And I mean, your answer makes perfect sense to me, and it resonates quite deeply with me, because when I've asked other people, usually with sort of an American individualist coaching model or mindset, their answers don't make sense to me. They'll have a business plan, and they will have financial goals, and they will have some of like the logistics and very specific things that are almost being like imposed on the world rather than coming from it in a natural way. So
Wow.
I'm really interested to hear your full presence, your availability to meet things, and your willingness to show up and play. I think that sounds lovely.
It sounds contradictory considering the fact that I'm a planner. I should have a plan. I should know where I'm going. But
Well, I think you may be uniquely equipped to understand the limitations of a plan, and that
exactly.
the specificity can go so far that it kills the plan.
And as we are taught, it's not a goal, it's a dream. So I'm at a place where I'm just dreaming and just allowing the dreams to come through. Because once it becomes a goal and you set all of those things, it sets limitations. So now I'm just open. I'm
Well, and
just
it
open.
sounds like on a very large and a very serious scale, because I mean you're constructing society. You're constructing the basics of the structure that human beings will live in. and be a part of. But at the same time, I see in my mind like a kid playing with Legos. And, you know, when they want to build an overly specific, impossible thing, there's that frustration. But, you know, I just heard my kids like Legos come crashing off the table, and he's just going with it. And it's like, well, I guess that didn't happen. Now what can I do?
It's a new experience, like who
It's that
teaches us.
creative adjustment right there. Well, there goes that plan. Now what?
Exactly, exactly. Let's reflect. Let's come up with a theory what could have been, and let's experiment once again. Let's act, and let's see, and then we just continue through the cycle.
In a very adult way with government departments and international financing and, you know, very
Yes,
serious things like that.
with intent, as you say, very
Yeah.
serious things.
Well,
But
intent and
just allow
responsibility.
yourself.
You
Yeah,
know, I don't want to try to overemphasize the playfulness that I'm enjoying, because I
but
also hear the responsibility.
I'm very much aware of that. It's something that I think stays with me. It's at the back of my mind all the time. That with all of these opportunities, there's a great level of responsibility. That's why I never take them for granted. That's why I give my best and my all when those opportunities come, because I understand the level of responsibility that comes with these gifts, with these opportunities, to be in the spaces that I've been privileged to be in, that I've been graced enough to be in. And I don't take them lightly. That's why I make sure that, you know what, I give it my all and my best so that I show up in the best way that I can. And if it was with people, leave them with an experience and with a bit of me.
I think one final question is just sort of about the scope or the scale of how you are and what you're doing. I mean, do you feel that you are part of an international community? I mean, I know Gestalt Africa is a Pan-African project, but do you work? Do you have influence? Are you connected? Do you feel connected to broader international community?
Um,
A lot just happened on your face there.
because the future just lit up before my eyes. I just saw, it's as if I just saw a glimpse of it. As I said, I am new to this journey, and it was nurtured by an individual who connected me to Africa. And our teachers, by mere fact that they are internationally connected, I will not limit myself and say I'm only confined to South Africa or Africa just because this is where I am, but by the mere fact that I'm connected to them with the global connections, opportunities are there. Here I am today sitting with you, my first international connection.
Wow. Wow.
That's why I reacted the way I did, because I feel like the international connection, here it is. I might be playing in South Africa, stepping into Africa, but the world is it's just at my doorstep. When the door opens, I will step in, and
Mhm. And you will be a gift.
thank you so much.
Mm.
Thank you. So yeah, I think that's my answer. That I feel like through them, I'm connected to the rest of the world. And through this opportunity now, I'm probably just throwing seeds into the international community, just
Mhm.
planting seeds into the international community where they get planted and
Just planting
watered
seeds, just going about your day. I think that's
at
gonna
the
go.
right time.
Hmm.
At the right time, a harvest will come. So hence I reacted the way I did because yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Well, is there anything that you would like to add? I've really enjoyed being with you, and I look forward to more of whatever this is going to be for you.
Um, like I said, I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to to connect with you and through you and this platform to connect to other Gestalt human beings. And I'm just so grateful because the work that you do is amazing. It shows us who Gestalt human beings are. We take a piece of them, and the piece that I've offered, someone might take it like we were just saying now, and could connect me to them at a later stage. So thank you for the work that you do. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And yeah, thanks for this opportunity to be sitting on the same platform with amazing Gestalt people, my teachers whom I respect so much, whom I love so much, and yeah, it's just gratitude.
Mhm. Yes, thank you. Thank you.